Hello and welcome to the IUPS Team Tour 2023 with me, Dom.
And Takua, again. It is the end of the regular season now, so I hope everyone's enjoyed playing their not 5 games. 5 people on the team, 8 games.
8 games, yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of them. A whole... right, there's been...
Well, each team's played 40, but it doesn't quite work out
15
to be
games a
40
week,
for each.
right?
Yeah.
Then...
Well, no, it's 75 a
Yeah,
week if you're
yeah.
counting all formats, so you just do 75 times 8. That's the best way of doing it.
Maths, though? Right,
600 games.
thank you. I'm glad I didn't have to do the maths. Haven't had to do maths since being in university itself. There's been plenty of drama on the last day of the season, or on the main portion of it before playoffs. Teams trying to get their way into playoffs, and some making it, some not making it. I know you'll all be incredibly sad to hear that I personally didn't make it, but it's fine
Alas.
because other teams did, and I'm
Yeah.
happy for them. Shall we take a look at the standings?
I think that would be most suitable.
Yeah, let's do it. We can even do it with our very first transition. Ooh. First transition of the day, and it's lovely. Leading the entirety of the tour, going unbeaten through all 8 weeks. Not by games, obviously by week.
No, nine total game losses, which is still quite impressive.
It is very impressive. Cambridge Crawdons, they came well at the top. They blasted through all of their opponents and finished off with a differential of 83, which is massive. And you can see the next two down also had a fantastic diff in Lopney's School of Economics and St. Andrews. But
Yeah.
all those 3 teams, and Vesper Queen Mary getting those 7 wins, also all doing very well, getting into the top 4. They get the pick of the bunch in terms of who they play first round of playoffs, because it is all seeded. So first plays 16th, second plays 15th, etc., etc. And if you were a bit hazy on how the playoff picture actually looked, it was the top 4 from each division, from Xerneas, Yveltal, and Zygarde, and then the next 4 best teams in the full standing. So it could have been, I don't quite know how the actual division standings worked out, and I can't be bothered to look across because they're right there, they're on the side.
Well, I mean, you can see them.
Yeah.
There's a pretty clear cutoff.
Let's see if any of the things
But
that I'm actually
basically, if you went 5-3, you qualified.
Yep.
Because everyone else that was below that, funnily enough, 5-3 and above is exactly 16. So
yeah, it worked out very nicely
pretty
for
well.
us.
Yeah. No big issues there. Of course, if another team went 5-3, maybe could have been a bit more dicey, but that did not happen. So.
And very curiously, only 2 teams going 4-4 this season.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I couldn't make it my team.
That was a final week decider, if I remember correctly. So
yeah. But that is the playoff picture. I can probably... Ooh, can I? I can slide down and show you the rest of the table there.
I do not currently know what you're looking at, but...
Oh, that's a good point. I'm not streaming anything for you. You even added me on the Discord. Let's go and look on this. This should work for you for now. I'll have to change it later.
Excellent.
There you go. Just showing the full picture. And then if I slide across and head over to the divisions, we saw we saw Xerneas before, but I'll show it a bit again if my mouse wheel would like to work. Lopunny and Vespiquen both finishing on that 7-1. Cambridge getting into the playoffs with the 5-3. Yveltal had the Cambridge Crawdons with that unbeaten season, and Lancaster getting through to the playoffs in 5th, and Zygarde had the St. Sandshrews finishing top in that division, and both the Southampton Shipwrecks and the Chambaleurs getting through to the playoffs.
Sandshrew is actually close to getting undefeated as well, only lost in the final week, actually.
Yes.
Very close series there as well.
I believe it was actually, if I'm not mistaken, by Southampton to get into playoffs.
No, it was the Infernape.
I lied to you all.
Which still,
it still got them into
week,
playoffs.
No, but it was very important because if they lost that week, they go 4-4,
and any of the 4-4 teams could have gone in at that point.
Although I dare say they did have more diffs, so I think they still edged it out. But
yes, they will have done.
It was still a matter of getting that confirmed, or at the very least, you get a seed.
A full nail biter that was.
Yeah.
In terms of by the, what are they called? The formats. Of course, Cambridge on top in Paldea, as well as LSE. The rest also had an incredibly good season in Paldea. I cannot slide far enough across the screen for you to see the other ones, so I'll have to. Can I do? Probably not. That seems incredibly difficult to do on the fly for the stream, so I'll just call them out. Ubers, because it's to the right, had Durham going, the Dudun Sparses going undefeated in Ubers. Newcastle Zigzatoons also going 7-1 in second. Little Cup had Liverpool Lytton going 7-1 in first place, and a lot of teams on 6-2 in both Ubers and Little Cup. Then in Natdex, we had the Galaska Lysopods going 8-0 for
Didn't make playoffs, though.
Did they not? With
No.
an 8-0 in Natdex? That's incredible. No. Wow. Well done to the Glasgow Lysopods player who was leading in Natdex. That's a really strong differential too.
Yeah.
In fact, I believe that is the strongest performance out of any of the formats. So well done on that.
If we're going on 8-0 with highest diff, yeah. If we're talking about raw diff, technically no, but diff is not a good measure.
No. Oxtagoons got 7-1 in the Natdex, and then in doubles it was LSE going 7-1 in first place there. Let's talk about the players very quickly before we move on to the actual games. There was one player, and we've already talked about them, who went 8-0 this season, and that was Torkoal Fever, the Glasgow Lysopods in Natdex. Well done, Torkoal Fever. An incredible season, going undefeated.
Yep.
A lot of strong players down to 8th, getting a 7-1. Second place being Florence Iris, and third, the bronze medal going to Sad Skooma Cat. I'll say the divisions very quickly. In the first for Xerneas was Sad Skooma Cat. First in Yveltal was Torkoal Fever, and first in the Zygarde division was Ashente for the rest. Let's go talk about some games. Shall we invite our first player in? Do we have them in? We don't.
They have been informed. We're just going to wait to see if they are around. MVPs are also out and fixed. Big thank you to Red Rouge for actually doing that. They have been down for the majority of the season. But if you do want to have a look at them, feel free. I don't know. We can have a little bit of time now, I suppose. Yeah.
Go across for the Xerneas division. The MVP. MVP, in case anyone doesn't know, is just it's the stats for the Pokemon. Top 20 can all be seen or not because it's one of those kinds of. I started
Oh, you've got it
scrolling
on
down
sent,
and
haven't you?
then didn't realise that it'd keep the top bits in. That's fine. I don't think they'll be able to see maybe. Oh no, that perfectly fits into the screen
There you go.
for the top 20. Hooray! In Xerneas, Marshadow being the Marshadow that it is.
It was. I had a lot of fun using it.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
In fact, you had a lot of fun using 3 of your Pokemon of 4 because. Oh wait, no, I can. Oh my! I'm just looking at the team.
there are only. Yeah, I mean
There's
there are
2.
multiple from LSE, but
Yeah.
yes, Marshadow and Zern
Xerneas.
both took 1 and 3. So.
Oh wait, yeah, you're the team that the Chambalers are playing. I've been looking at this team. Your team is horrifying.
Hiya.
There's a good bit of breaker spam. Hello.
Hello. Sounds like we have our player. Let's quickly go through the MVPs for the other division. I won't go through the formats. In Yveltal.
But you can take a look yourself at the docs.
Yes, you can. In Yveltal, MVP, it looks like. Oh god, that's not
It's
the
a
MVP.
bit funny on there. That is
No, it
the
isn't.
MVP
I was
stats,
going
that's
into the back
data.
pages. I had the back pages available to me.
Yes, this one is currently not loading.
Hooray! Oh, there we go. Oh.
It's Arc Poison because the first 3 are not working properly. There you go. Arceus Poison,
Arceus
Urshifu
Poison.
Single Strike, Arceus Ground.
Hooray! And then in Zygarde, I hate that they all have like similar sounds to them, not as like the divisions, but like as Pokemon, they all fill me.
Well, I
with...
mean, it's just different forms of Arceus. It is ultimately the same Pokemon.
Oh no, I meant Xerneas, Yveltal, Zygarde. They all feel like they're
yeah.
the same coming out of my mouth. In Zygarde, Kyogre.
That's Primal Kyogre. Because
Yes.
regular Kyogre is banned.
Of course, because it can hold an item. Primal Kyogre comes in first, Urshifu Rapid Strike in second, and a bunch of fun Pokemon going all the way through. Houndstone coming into the top. For 20.
Interestingly, every top MVP has been an Uber's Pokemon.
Yeah, it's the format for it, to be fair.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about some games. Let's do our next transition as we head over to Paldea Dex with our player from the Lancaster Lycanrocs, I believe.
Might want to get the replay
That's
on the
correct.
actual stream rather than the docs.
Yeah. It's on the stream. I just always forget that I've got like 70 million things to click about. There you go. Have a nice, have a lovely game. This was a game between the Lancaster Lycanrocs and the Sussex Sharpedos. We have with us let's see if I get this right. Dietary.
That's how I tend to pronounce it.
Nice.
That can be pronounced multiple ways. I'm happy to have got it right the first time. So this was a game up against Garganackle. That's the only thing we care about here. Like, yes, there is the big bear, and yes, there's a Gengar, there's a tornado, there's a snail.
Hydra.
There is a snail, but in Paldea Dex, the only thing we really care about here is how do we break the Garg.
Well, I mean, there's
Well,
no
so-
way you can do that, but...
Yeah, but what we ended up doing was getting the Terra Protect, which I was quite happy with.
So, what were you looking for? I mean, with that prediction, but also with the team in general.
Okay, so as we started the match, the immediate thing I noticed is right, they don't have Elegant, so they don't have hazard removal, so I could immediately just get all my spikes set up. The other thing about Lilligant is that Heatran was built as a Lilligant hamster, as you will see later in the match when its berry gets tricked off of it. Or knocked off. I think it was tricked though. So that the other thing that meant was that I could freely use heat trap for other things.
Okay.
So the other thing was the Garganacle. That's the biggest threat on the team. Yes, Gengar and Luna and Tornadus is scary, but in particular that Garganacle in practice matches, the amount of times that stalled me out if I got things wrong.
It's a stupid one.
It does get to do it if left unchecked. We've had the pleasure of using Terragog on our team, and it has definitely done that to some players. So definitely something you have to prepare for.
What about turn 1? What was the thought going right into it?
So yeah, I lead with Meowscarada because Meowscarada's job is to, I mean, in basically every practice match, you would lead Meowscarada because it's just a good lead. It U-turns out if it's a bad matchup, and it sets spikes if it's not. Turn 1, is the stream frozen? Or
No,
is
don't worry. The game hasn't started yet.
Cool. Yeah, so turn 1, I'm seeing, okay, I have the opportunity to set up just so many spikes that they won't be able to do anything like that. I think it was into Tornadus, if I remember correctly, right?
Let's have a look. Shall I be playing this on slow or on normal? I have not looked at any of the games this week, I'm afraid.
Put it on normal, and then I'll save it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this was reasonable speed when I was looking over this.
Yep, it is indeed the Tornadus. The spikes get to come up. And
I was quite surprised that it U-turned out because it can do well, but I'm not complaining. Getting Will-O-Wisp entirely really kind of inconsequential because like Meowscarada can do some damage, but that's really not what it's there for, so I was quite happy to see it getting the other thing, of course, that means is that I can switch it in sort of wrong, which is very nice. The nasty pop was pretty scary, but I knew I had to deal with it because of the kind of monstrous special defense when it is an assault. If you want to pause it here.
Okay.
So the Heatran, you can see it had a chocolate berry on it, specifically for Hisui and Lilligant. It was a defensive Heatran, and without the chocolate berry, it didn't survive close combat for me. Lilligant to support. With it did. And then it got chipped off of it, so it got Choice Scarf, which is not an awful outcome, considering that just means I have a fast Heatran on it.
Yeah, now you get to outspeed the Tornadus, potentially the Gengar.
Well, it didn't have any speed investment, so it didn't really get to outspeed anything. But the main thing is it was not a trapping Heatran, which I frequently bring. So for a trapping Heatran, it would have been, curtains for it. But since this is just an event for Heatran, that's fine.
Yeah.
You can restart
again. Power Gem for the Rotom Heat.
Yep, that's there for Rotom. That's and Tornadus.
Okay.
So I wasn't expecting the curse, and it did start to get a little bit scared of it. But I went for the knockoff so that it didn't have it. I don't anymore because then it couldn't recover. And then I thought the flamethrower would do more here. The reason I brought in Heatran is because it's the only actual special attacker that I brought.
That's flame body.
That is an unfortunate flame body on their part.
So I got the Swords Dance off, and here's just a misplay. I forgot about Shell Armor. Otherwise, that Surging Strength would have been fine because it's guaranteed crit, obviously, so it goes through the defense boost. I just forgot. If I'd remembered, I would have played close combat there probably, but it ended up okay. yeah, so there you can see the insane bulk of Iron Hands.
Yeah,
Um,
I love it. I'm starting to really appreciate Iron Hands for what it can do.
Man, it's an absurd HP numbers.
Mhm.
um, bringing the Garganacle, you can pause here. So the Terror flying, it wasn't something we had particularly prepared for, but Thunder Punch was just the best option for all the Terror types that it was going to go into. I knew it was clicking Terror there, and I knew not to click Close Combat, I think, because Ghost is a popular Terror type for it.
Getting those hazards up to make sure that it doesn't come in for free at all.
I did do that pretty late in the game, but I do think it still had its value. Particularly with the regenerate on that Tornadus. That knockoff was a misplay. I should have just clicked Ice Shard twice, but oh well. And then Shifu just clicked that with Jet because it's pretty powerful.
Oh, I'm very silly. The Stealth Rocks doesn't do anything to the Garganacle because it'll be it's the flying.
Well, the spikes won't after the second switch in, but the Stealth Rocks will.
Yeah.
Either way, yeah.
Oh wait, yeah.
A million times.
Yeah. Brain exploding. A nice, simple Aqua Jet endgame. Everything was low enough to.
It's very strong.
Yeah. But thank you very much for coming and talking about your game versus the Sharpedos.
Thank you.
I should have done my research again to see if all of the players that I'll be talking to, I need to say good luck for the playoffs or not. I think Lancaster I do, because you got into the...
Yeah, I do.
We are 16th place.
Yeah, you got the last position.
So we will be going up against the undefeated Cambridge Crawdons, but I think we can do it.
There has always been major upsets in the playoffs, and
that's just how it is.
Lancaster could be that one.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be playoffs without upsets because,
Absolutely.
well, no one would watch competitive sports. No one would want to keep following up with these sorts of things if the playoffs go as, they're first seed, so therefore they'll win the tournament. That's just not how it works. You do have to be careful with every single week. So, absolutely possible, and I'll look forward to watching the games for sure.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Let's see if we can have our next... Oh, wait, no, it's Natdex. Natdex doesn't have any...
Unfortunately, they cannot make it to the Natdex, so it will be just the two of us going through the game between Vic Plaudel and Joe Kimbo, which is particularly interesting for one reason, and that is these two teams, the Bristol Bloomers and the Liverpool Littons, are matching up versus each other again in the first week of playoffs. So this is the exact same match that we'll have this week for the first round of playoffs. And, well, both teams will need to make some adjustments, I'm sure, and there'll be a lot to be learned from this game, as it was quite a close one as well.
I must say, I found it hilarious seeing the two teams go, no, we don't want to play each other again. Can you change the playoffs for us? We go, no, we can't. That's how the playoffs work. No.
I do have to say, I believe if talk about like seeding earlier, we actually almost had a similar situation with Camerups. If I think Sandshrews won the week, I think we actually matched up versus them again.
Oh yeah.
So it all comes down to the way that seeding are, but
yeah, because they would have been.
Yeah, we would have had third seed.
Yeah.
So.
Right, let's take a look at these two teams. We've got a Tinglu and Tornadus on one side. I'm guessing that's a Mega Scizor.
Yes, correctly.
And on the other side, we've got a Meowscarada, Heatran. What else is a big threat in there? Is that a Mega T-Tar or is that a normal T-Tar?
I do not remember, unfortunately.
We'll find out eventually, I'm sure. They look relatively balanced, I dare say.
Yeah, I think one thing is going to be basically slowly wearing down Vaporward side because you have two Regenerator Mons plus Tinglu Mega Sizzle,
Yeah.
which is, to say the least, is not particularly easy to break. And you've basically brought a team with, well, Tyranitar, Meowscarada, and Raikou can fulfill that role depending on what set they bring, but it's going to be a lot of information conserving to come from that end. So we'll see what happens.
What is interesting that I'm noticing on the left-hand side is we've got a Gramble.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not an expert in the dex tiering, but I'm going to guess that that's probably 6 points or lower.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's about the 5 and 4 point mark.
Yeah.
Generally on that dex boards. It's not a particularly great mod. Very high attack stat, but that's really that plus Intimidate is really all you have going for it.
Yeah, so I'm very curious about what's going to happen with that, whether it's purely for the Latias and Meowscarada, or if it's going to do a little bit more than just that today.
Yep, acts as a Draco Absorber. At least put some pressure on if you want to click that button or not. Latias could be a defensive set. We don't exactly know. Mon can run a lot of different sets, even if the Mon, in my opinion, is not particularly good.
Oh no, I love it. I've used it to, I think, once or twice in a draft, and I love that it can do more than. It feels like it can do more than Latios because it has the bulk to be able to.
But then at the same time, it does absolutely no damage unless you get boosts. So
yeah,
that's my opinion on that.
But it doesn't get Tokos as easily as Specs Draco on a Latios. That's for sure.
Not even close. 20 points of special attack difference is quite significant. But we should just get into the replay, I think.
I believe so. Let's see how they start up the match. Meowscarada, like we saw in the last game, against a Tornadus, like we saw in the last game.
Never seen this before. They're slightly different. Rose U-turn does about 20%. Fair chunk of damage.
Both just trying to position themselves.
I mean, with the Slowking here, you probably okay. Trick Room is a very interesting reveal. Not sure about that. You can teleport straight into something else here. You're actually quite okay. Go for Chilly Reception. I don't really see the need to run that.
Oh,
running teleport.
It's the Grumble.
Okay, well, it's gonna be quite fast now. Although I don't think it has a good move to break the Heatran with.
And
I don't think this gets Earthquake.
Oh,
wow,
okay. I see why we've been given this replay.
Yeah, just remember, I jumped into this game live on the end game, so I don't actually remember it does get Earthquake. So I don't actually know how the early game went down. But yeah, Trick Room Gramble here looking like a slight bit of a problem. Ice Punch just straight up kills the Togekiss.
That is a one bulk up Gramble right there.
Yep. I mean, this can get revenged now by pretty much most mons. Its special defense stats quite low. This will definitely take one hit though, and you're probably just going to get returned by an Earthquake. So two mons are just going straight down to bulk up Gramble off the rip.
I am liking this replay. A strong Gramble game is always fine by me.
Yeah, I assume the Heatran wasn't packing a Flash Cannon because that's your best play there. Otherwise,
potentially. Because the Trick Room had already gone down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Turn into Meow. I mean, knock off crits. Again, you just basically come out on this because Sizzle will absolutely smoke you, but they went for the taunt instead, which not entirely sure what the plan was here.
I get it, because if it Soul Stance, that's game over. If it is that set.
It would have to bring Sand Tomb for the Heatran.
It can have Close Combat or Superpower. Yeah,
it's a bit awkward though for sure. Depends. Sand gives up, trades Trick Room away.
And I'd guess the Tinglu comes in? Yeah. This kind of just cleans up from here. It can have Ruination, Throat Chop, Crunch, whatever for the Latias. Or it's just a... It's just Hazards. Is it going to be a Whirlwind set? What's it gonna do? No, it's the Earthquake.
Now, I believe this is where things get a little bit dicey with the Latias. So as much disdain as I have for this Pokemon, does actually end up doing a fair bit. Toxic onto Tinglu is very, very big. That's all. You're going to wear that down.
Unfortunate.
Leftovers no longer mean anything.
Stone Edge miss, but it wouldn't have killed. Probably wouldn't have done half thinking about it.
Yeah, but basically resets pressure. Heatran comes in. Reliable scissors switch in. Soaking now can take most hits Heatran can throw off. Not really in a scary position as such. Stealth Rocks do go up though.
No. And at these points in the game, it's simply a matter of you have 3 more Pokemon. The advantage just grows and grows and grows because you are able to go into those answers. Magma Storm trapping the Slowking, but it is slower in... Oh.
Here comes Latias again. Decides to go
That's
up
interesting.
Stalled rather than going out. Does get the burn.
But they couldn't go out because of the Magma Storm, but... Oh, wait, no, they could have chilly receptioned.
So it's entirely possible to actually get a switch on that.
Yeah, and I don't think the Scald killed the Heatran from that. I think it just managed to live with the leftovers recovery.
Yeah, it would have been okay, no problems there. So Trick Room successfully stalled out. Slowking can afford to put another one up if it so desires. But decides to switch into Scizor instead.
Projecting the Toxic, very nice. And they know that it's only got Psychic, which, other than special defense drops, isn't going to do that much to it. There's the close combat that they were afraid of earlier. I'm going to go on to normal speed, I think.
Yeah.
Bye-bye leftovers. In comes the Slowking that we saw before.
Completely walling Heatran at a range. Toxic does go down with 2 mons of this now. Trick Room back up again. 5 turns, well, 4 turns after the turn ends. To play with that Heatran, just trying to get some more chip onto Slowking between Magma Storm and Toxic, which won't quite kill it this turn, but always put it into range of Toxic damage next turn if the Slowking decides not to switch out, which it does not, so it will drop to Toxic right here. If I'm not mistaken. No, actually, Leftovers does put it over because you don't get the Magma Storm again. But...
Interesting that they'd stay in. Are they going for a Granbull?
Yeah, I don't think it's too bad because you can bring the Granbull in on the last turn of Trick Room here. And play off, well, it's generally pretty okay. Picks up the kill.
I think they could have equally done a chilly reception to get it in, because they were always going to roost.
Gonna take the Heatran down, and here comes Tita.
Ooh. Someone's saying unlucky in chat. I'm not really seeing where the unluckiness is.
Connects the Fire Punch, and this is where Tita starts to do some very scary things, actually. So you turn into Tinglu, but this is Toxic on 53. Tinglu is slower, right? So it takes a Crunch. Takes the Toxic chip afterwards, keeps that 41%. And then there's the low kick coming through, which was revealed earlier, 47, right? So now you can't bring that back in. Torn's taking 25% from rocks each time, so it gets knocked off. So you no longer have that AV on it. Doesn't really mean much here because the Tita's still alive. So Tita's literally just claimed 4 kills right off the rip. So
I was not expecting that.
And Arcanine does get the head smash. So I think slightly wasted diff there on that, but perhaps not entirely sure on the head smash. And if I'm not mistaken, was a roll, I think, in the end.
Yes.
Or at least something a little bit sketchy.
65 to 75.
Yeah.
Which means that it was a kill, no matter what.
Yeah, so they weren't banded, which is the main thing there. So the chip was necessary from Torn. Perhaps that was obtainable slightly earlier with a different move, but I guess knockoff is, well, it's more consistent because if you are running obviously U-turn plus Hurricane has that mischance. So either getting no chip or even maybe 5 to 10% off of knockoff sometimes more valuable considering what the roll was at. But yeah, if we're looking into playoffs now, of course, because this will be a rematch. T-Tar, something to think about, and Trick Room, something to think about on the other side, because Trick Room did just knock out your Togekiss and your Raikou basically for free. You were playing a 4v6 actually for the majority of the game, with Tito just being able to clean up towards the end game. So
Yeah,
a few things to watch out for.
I think it comes down to tempo for the next game,
Yeah.
because both players get to decide whether it's going to be a quicker game or a slower game. If it's a slower game, Vape Lord can use those regen mons a bit more because they weren't getting damage down enough. But also they could go for a quicker game without relying heavily on the regen, because they were out damaging them at pretty much every step. So it'll be very much on Joe Kimbo to figure out how to deal with those mons.
A few different ways. You definitely had breaking options. You just lost them to the Gramble, so perhaps just maybe having a way to stop Smoking Trick Room a little bit better than you had this game. So running Taunt and things like Meowscarada, etc.
And I would project that
that.
Gramble probably won't be coming to the next game.
No.
That's likely a 1 week shock, impact sub kind of deal. And yeah, but a good game nonetheless.
Indeed.
It'll be very interesting to see what they do in the second.
And now we will move. Normally it would be Ubers, but it's going to be shifted along a little bit further. So we're actually going to look at the doubles replay first, which, again, both players unfortunately cannot be here, but I have a paste from one side of it. And if you did watch this game, let's just say both players had a little bit of fun. It wasn't standings relevant in the last week, basically. So this is not necessarily what you'd expect both players to be bringing on a regular basis, but yeah, I think the best way of explaining it is to just get into it.
Yeah, so both teams were out of the playoff picture.
No, they were both guaranteed playoffs picture.
Oh, I'm looking at the Ubers game instead of the doubles matchup. Of course, this is the Dunsparcers versus Vesper Queen Mary. It will have only just switched up the matchup.
Yeah, it could have switched up matchups, but both players had agreed to this.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a huge deal.
Okay, and in case people are worrying about there not being any fantasy update this week, well, that's because the fantasy update is going to be its whole video. We're going to have an award ceremony just like last year to see who has come out on top of the Fantasy League. One of those interested may well be my co-host here, because I believe you were on top last time.
I was indeed. I think I had an 11-point lead, and well, let's say I did get a few points from this game. So.
Ooh, okay. Let's see what happens. I'll plop it onto normal speed, and we can see what goes on.
Yeah, so this is actually a pretty standard lead just off the rip. That you think it's pretty normal. Fake Out goes into Shifu. You have the Intimidate from Crocodile. So actually not very memey to say the least. But there is straight away reveals a Specs Grimstar. There's far too much damage coming with D-Gleam, and that is Aquajet Absorb Bulb. Pickpocket. Actually no, sorry, it was Specs from the thingy. But yeah, still very high damage on the Grimstar. There's a Specs damage.
That's fun.
Which is very funny. Actually does this again next turn. Body press. Panda comes through. Would have definitely targeted into Zongas myself there, because I think you basically guarantee a double knockout rather than going for the low press in the other slot. But it is very funny to see the Grimstar do this. There's a poison gas
instead of the top.
Revealing itself. Bronzong actually going to survive.
They're just leaving the Grimsnarl alive. I like it.
Yeah. We'll get this paste up actually in a second.
Okay, we are seeing the Grassy Glide and air slush.
Yeah, so I mean, it seems pretty normal from Yuki at the moment. But here we are. The the Sunflora is in position. Rillaboom gets attracted. Does still get the Leech Seed off past the Infatuation, but you are about to see a move that I think some of you may not even know existed, and there it is. It's called Flower Shield. Raises the defense of every single grass type on the field at the same time by one stage. So it's actually increasing the defense of the Shaman Sky, which, unfortunately, has Leech Seed as its only form of damage, as you will see shortly. So it actually cannot kill the Rillaboom or the Subflora.
That's hilarious.
This Lopunny...
Does Grass
I don't think-
Whistle work on grass types?
No.
No, I didn't
If
think
I'm
it
not
did.
mistaken. I don't... Actually, no, it should do, because it's technically... it's not a powder move, actually. So I think
Oh,
it
yeah.
actually does, but... yeah.
That is very funny.
Yeah, Klutz stops Fling, which is very interesting. Fling Flame Orb was not actually going to go through. There was also some round shenanigans. The Shifu, the Salazzle, and the Azelf all had round on their movesets, which is very funny. Round takes the speed of the fastest mon that use it, and then the next mon will cast it straight afterwards. Very good with mons like that can basically power up round. So high spatax, normal type mons, or mons with pixelate basically, are the main abusers of round strategies. So not having any of those in this case just makes it, quite funny. But yeah, you can see this goes on for quite some time. It's the only way that the Shaman is well. Technically, the Shaman is killable if Yuki decides to go into the Iron Moth.
Yes.
But obviously, we're just having a little bit of fun here, and the Shaman will slowly get Toxic Stalled to death.
I mean, that's when you see sub on it, then you might as well do that because there's no downside to staying in right now.
Oh yeah, I mean this is technically speaking the correct play. It's just very funny to see it go down.
Yeah.
But yes, Flower Shield. Toxic is the own Rillaboom. Might as well do it.
We've had two
fun.
very, very memey doubles games in a row. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. So there you go. A win with Flower Shield. Maybe not the. I'm not sure if you'd actually count that as a win, but I guess it is by the book still a win.
It's a win. It doesn't matter if it's a meme win.
Oh yeah. So now we've had Flower Shield. I want to see Rototiller next. I think we've had some weird moves come out.
Where's the Frenzy Plant?
I mean that's more normal, you know.
I've never seen a Frenzy Plant being used.
I've never seen a Rototiller get used. So.
I have actually seen a Rototiller get used.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That makes one of us.
I don't remember where, but I remember that I have. It might have been in 2021's. Can't quite remember. But that was the doubles. Shall we invite our Ubers player on?
Yep, I believe they should be around. So I can.
I just realised I haven't been transitioning, but it's fine. We can have a week without full transitions.
As far as fantasy is concerned, Rillaboom enjoyers definitely did get some mileage out of that one, which I think is quite a few players.
And Sunflora enjoyers too.
That's me. I actually do get some points of Sunflora. I don't know how many people actually picked Sunflora. Not sure if there's that many, but yeah, I'll take my points off of that.
Yeah. And Grimmsnarl, to be fair, Grimmsnarl got 2 kills.
Yeah. For those of you that actually picked, I actually don't know how many people picked up Grimmsnarl. To be frank, Grimmsnarl was one of the butts of the fantasy last year when it just
got negative
get points.
4 points.
Has done significantly better this year. It's not even close. It's actually positive. But, yeah, we'll see how things actually wrap up with the fantasy recap later this week. But we do have our Ubers player now. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We have.
We have a good game.
That's good. We have Sibwind from Newcastle with us.
Newcastle.
Versus the East Yanglia
Yoltics. Yes, they were the Queest Quangle Quacksires last time, so you've always got to change one of the first letters.
I believe what they do, did we do a captain stream this year?
No, not strictly.
Okay.
We did have like people join in the draft recap if the captains were around, but we didn't have a strict captain stream.
Okay. Well, I believe what East Anglia do is they poll for their favourite Pokemon, and then whatever that Pokemon is, they have it as the last word of the team name. So this time it will have been Joltik, and then make it East Anglianized. With, although I don't know why they turned it into Joltik rather than just the Joltik.
Geest
Very nice.
Janglia Joltix.
I think that sounds perfectly fine too.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
But we have the Newcastle player with us in Sibwind. How are you doing?
Good. I've actually enjoyed Ubers, surprisingly.
Oh, don't say that. I can't
Let's
keep
hear it.
up my menacing dislike of Ubers if people say that they enjoy it when they come on the streams.
I mean, it is my first Ubers season, and it will probably be the last.
Yeah.
But nice change.
Okay. This is part of the problem with Ubers for me. I'm looking at those matchups. I'm seeing Ubers Pokemon, and I'm going, they're
That's
all
too hard.
very strong against each other because they're Ubers.
Yeah, that's why I just drafted offense and thought we hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But-
generally like that. But I mean, the first thing I see is that the Kurum White doesn't have a resist. So Specs Kurum White pretty much breaks this team really well if it can actually position itself in. But you've also got a team with very little ways to do that. So that's one of the concerns there on that side. But if you can position the Kurum White in, or even the Ursaluna to that effect, can then definitely bring a lot of breaking power to this matchup. Goes the other side. Kurum Black can actually win the game if it gets a DD up in some positions as well. So
Yeah. Turn one. What were you thinking?
Honestly, it was more. I didn't really see a good lead, so I just kind of thought we will pick anything.
That's
It-
sometimes how it goes, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I had my Great Tusk plan in the back, which is my favorite set I've ever seen, but it didn't really work. So we just hope for the best.
Okay. Slow or medium? Or slow or normal speed, do you reckon?
Slow. It's not too long of a game.
Alrighty. Let's click the play button and see how things go. Palkia in on
Yeah.
the Prima.
Yes, I did not the best lead matchup. But
Oh.
and you
The-
see a
the
sing,
Blunder
which
Policy.
is sing Blunderpulacy, which is certainly something, not something I'd expect to ever come.
we both spent a while in the kitchen for this game. Sets have been cooked. Noticeably, Perish Sog Whirlpool Arceus has come out. As it
Yeah.
does.
Is this a meme game, or is this a because
Wow.
neither team needed to be
Yeah,
winning for playoffs.
so we have it is quite a meme game. I'd like to say some of these sets were quite serious, but
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the
my Hydra
seriousness.
Cannon was devastating.
Yeah.
I was
It's
Luckily,
basically Frenzy Plant.
I think
Yeah,
I'm
basically.
max health Mewtwo, but I'm pretty sure I'd have died if I wasn't. So that was not ideal. Of course, we've brought standard bulk up recover Mewtwo. The biggest counter to Muck.
Okay.
Special Muck though. Not ideal. We got some excellent coverage of Drain Punch.
Oh my.
Yeah, gonna take a while to run through that one.
Yeah, so we have Muck walling Mewtwo as it does usually. So it's not ideal.
Am I?
I have not seen a Mewtwo get walled by a Muck yet, but
Alola
Okay.
Muck is a different question.
Yeah. I'm just.
regular Muck not as good. But
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't know it got Moonblast, so I guess I learned that this game.
I am incredibly confused about what's happening here. I have to say.
Salak Berry.
Yeah, even with the Salic Berry, it was still slower. So Mewtwo is thankfully quite fast.
So, what convinced you to not go for the recover here? What made
I
you
was
want to stay down?
I was expecting like Sucker Punch or like Pursuit, not Pursuit, like Shadow Sneak or something, but
Is this just
Not-
is this okay? Fine. I actually don't know why it's Flame Charge rather than not. I mean, people having fun, right? So
Yeah.
Hibiscus fruit.
I'm the throat spray.
That explains why it's Flame Charge and not Dragon Dance.
Yep.
And it's ancient.
Ancient power of the coverage move.
I
Be
love
good.
this.
Standard.
This is great.
I've brought the Kirim set on the Palkia instead. My favorite Palkia set of Home Claws Scale Shot with loaded die.
That's
very-
got a lovely
very-
120
That's
physical
nice.
attack to use
They're
anyway.
very-
So.
Exactly. You might as well use that attack stat.
Normally it goes in the form of bulk up rather than home claw scale shot, but
You don't want to miss her.
yeah.
This Arceus did actually catch me a little bit. The Trick Room double screens. Mainly because I didn't actually know it learned Healing Wish. That one kind of just missed me all season.
Yeah, I
So
was
it
actually
only
running
did
it
that
on,
for the
I
momentum.
ran it on Arc Cross
Ah.
Yep, there's the Belly Drummer Saluna.
Let's go, Belly Drummer Saluna.
Which lives, sadly. I mean, it's just Belly Drum last resort.
Oh, that's just if they had
Devastating.
something a nice, I don't know what priority it gets if it gets like a quick attack or something, but
But luckily we have the Light Clay dual screens Kyurem in the back. with no attacking moves. I think it was Sunny Day. But that's because my plan was I wanted to use Sunny Day Rollout Great Tusk with a speed boost with
okay.
defense skill.
Oh, with defense, Carl. I see.
However, I saw at +1 at last resort does 60%. I was like, oh. I could have there was a roll to kill from full through Reflect, which made me very upset.
Does rollout work? Like get a damage boost if it's if
think it has to be
it's
the
not the
actual-
move before.
I think it has to be the direct move before.
Yeah.
And then we have physical
What?
Naganadel with
What?
Spellslinger,
What?
which does 35%.
A wonderful amount of damage.
And you said this wasn't a meme. too.
That's a die through Reflect. Naganadel not doing much here. But luckily this just can't, as usual with Ubers, Arceus just kind of walls everything.
Yeah.
However, I don't actually have a way of killing this, so we have to Perish Song for the double KO.
But fortunately, it's faster than you because of the speed boost from Scale Shot.
Yeah. However, I think I would, even if I tried to Whirlpool it to death, I feel like I would die first.
Maybe.
The
it-
thing is,
does it have Roost?
there was no real need to Whirlpool because you
Hmm.
win the game always with Perish Song
Yeah.
because of the speed difference.
Which I did find quite funny, because then I win based off going. It would have gone down first.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
either way, I was happy with the double KO.
Has that shown as loaded dice because of the 2 5 hits?
I think it is loaded dice, yeah. Because it's Icicle Space Scale Shot.
Yeah.
I would assume it was.
And there they both go.
There it is, the 0-0 win.
A 0-0 win for my last week. Perfect.
Is that the second 0-0 win we've shown this season? I think it might be.
Yeah, it's funny because we had it.
Was it the
in,
same
I
situation?
think it was week 3 or something.
No, week 1.
Oh.
Week 1.
We had a 0-0 win in Paldetics in week 1 due to it was some form of, I think it was recoil or something like that.
I think
yeah,
there was
it was a
another
0.
parish one as well.
There might have been another parish, but I know for a fact we had one in week 1 in Paldetics. And then ending the season with another.
It's not every
double.
week you get to end with
No.
a Perish Song KO, so I went for it.
Yeah.
I think enter Ubers to never play again.
Yeah. Yeah. I am. I'll be fine if people vote for it in next week in the poll for next year's.
Oh,
But
please
I'd be
vote for Ubers,
surprised
it's
if
a
it
good
gets
format.
through again.
Good format. I know it has been a little bit divisive. It's not for everyone.
Maybe not Arc format. I might have preferred a bit more. But
Yeah.
Really.
Arc is just a little too polarizing for me personally. I used to be full on Arc, but now that in
think after-
multiple leagues.
I think after playing it now, because every week is a matchup of looking at the enemy team
Yeah.
and going, do I bring Carmine Arceus or Dragon Dance Arceus? Which one wins?
That's interesting because there's a lot of support arc forms that simply really don't have that option. So it really depends on how you actually build your team. But yeah, some of the higher tier arc forms maybe more Carmine focused, but there's actually a lot of different ways you can build Arceus depending on the matchup. So
I think,
Yeah.
other than this week, obviously, I think I brought the same arc set every week, which was just Vizdef with Recover and Judgment, because it's electric, so you bring Judgment Ice Beam.
Yeah.
You get Recover, you get your coverage move of whatever you want. You get your fourth move slot, whatever you need that week.
And then you move out when a ground type comes in, and you're like, okay, cool, thanks.
Yeah. However, the only ground type in Ubers that is threatening enough, really, is also the Arceus ground, because it's just faster than every other ground type.
yeah, I mean it's you have Arc Ground, you have Groudon, and then you're looking at mons like Garchomp and Landorus T, which are actually really strong in Ubers anyway.
Because I think for the Groudon matchup, I was running Solar Beam, because you can just a +1, it just explodes Groudon.
Yeah. Oh, good old Ubers. I hope we pick low tier next year, please, everyone. It's so much better.
Oh, I love low tier.
Low tier's the best tier. It's the best format. Let's
Bring
do
back
it. And specifically
tier.
low tier, because we have enough mons for it now, please. Let me have my 10 pointers do
10 points
work
and
every
below.
week. I like 10 points and below. I like I think the last one that I ran for York was around about 6 points and below, something like that, maybe 5 points.
Jesus Christ.
It's so fun though.
Can't say I feel the same, but
I love playing ZU.
It's so fun.
You draw.
You bring in mons that you never used before, and you find out how they work against other. I was sweeping things with Krokorok and an Executor. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. Well, maybe we vote for that one next year.
Yeah, maybe.
It's
We'll see what
great.
happens.
Yeah. That poll will be coming out way after the tour ends, when we start figuring out what we want to do for 2024. But right now it's 2023 and we need to get onto Little Cup. So thank you very much for joining us.
No problem. Have a nice day.
And you. Little Cup. Do we have... Oh, we do have, hopefully, a Little Cup player coming.
Yes, should be reasonably soon. Rayquaza was the victor of this one, but cannot make it today, so we do have the player on the other side. Psychic Pompous Gigaton Watch hopefully coming. There we are. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Little Cup game from the Auxiliaries versus the Durham Dumbrions. How are you doing, Ben?
I'm doing alright. So
Yeah. I'm looking at this team and going, I've had you on before, haven't I?
no, I'm the Dumbrions team. So
Darn. I've had like 4 Bens come on this tour.
There are a lot of Bens.
There are
Fair
a lot.
enough.
There are a lot of Bens.
there are a lot of us around.
Yeah, there are a lot of Bens whose Discord name is Ben and then capital letter for probably surname.
we are trying and failing to differentiate between ourselves.
Right. Yes, this was game versus Rayquaza. You have the Hisuian Zorua that I happened to pick up in the last week of draft.
So cute.
It's really
It's a lot of
probably
fun.
mine. It is. I
I'm
didn't
a
use
proud
it well.
owner of a He Swims Aurora Plus.
Oh, I don't think I use it very well in this match.
Nah, there's
It's
things you can do with it. But there's things that limit the whole illusion thing too. You were up against a Scraggy. Oh god, I was up against a Scraggy. I know what's going to happen in this game. I have not watched this game, but I feel like I know what's going to happen. This matchup
we'll
looks
see.
eerily similar to what happens to me. I will share in your pain if it is what I think it's going to be.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Tell me about the matchup. What was
The matchup was interesting. So we figured out that Carve Fungus and Timber were pretty good here. That doesn't end up quite working, as you might see quite soon who the first to die is. uh, but yeah, no, so one other thing is they don't have a grass type, but they do have 2 sleep immunities in Cutify and Magby. They both get other abilities, but presumably not abilities they'd run against a Fungus. So
Potentially not, yeah.
Fungus is a bit awkward here. It's kind of pushed into a more offensive than utility position, which was a bit odd.
It doesn't do badly with it. It's just
It does hit
preferred.
hard.
It's not
It's
the
decently
preferred.
hard. It's
Yeah.
just very, very slow. Anyway, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Turn 1. What are you wanting to lead? Are you assuming that they are going Cutify to start off with?
What did I do to him? I think, if I'm remembering correctly, my logic was I wanted to get burned on the Timber as quickly as possible.
Okay. Let's see what happens with a click of the play button.
Oh,
Nope,
it's the ball placed.
toy. So you potentially were thinking Cutify is going to come in. I assume that's got rapid spin.
It's got red. That's got rapid spin.
Oh, it's the Trailblaze scent I love to use. Very badly.
Trailblaze Stealth Rock.
So yeah, both sides having rocks up is pretty important.
Rock's the most important move in LC, for various reasons.
Yeah.
Most things don't really want to be running heavy-duty boots because you've got things like Berry Juice and Deviolite, so it's almost always guaranteed to get things away from sturdy levels.
So yeah, there goes Timber.
Bye-bye,
Which
Timber.
is unfortunate with Scraggy still in the back, as well as oh yeah.
Ooh, Bitter Malice. That's the Hisui move.
It's the Hisuians or signature move. It's slightly weaker than Shadow Ball at 75 base power, but it has a guarantee to lower attack.
It's like physical mystical fire, but ghost. That's the best way of thinking about it.
And of
Yeah,
course, as
I
soon
guess
as
so.
they see that move, they know that's the Sarawa.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of overlap between Zora and
Anything else that you've got in there? Maybe
Carvanha sets.
Yeah.
Carvanha, so Timber gets knockoff. Carvanha doesn't.
Mm.
That's about it. This was tragic. This was an amazing
Ooh.
moment, though.
Focus punch. Yeah.
That's what I saw in the
that
folder.
tyrant is no more. So yeah, this is the moment we're here for.
That's what I planned.
Take that, you worm, and yeah, the worm is gone.
I guess they didn't like the tyrant.
No. But it's the shroom.
It's the shroom. The shroom is
Putting in work.
yeah. The shroom does a lot here. It doesn't don't get the spore there, unfortunately. But it can break sub, so that's nice.
Did the drain also break the sub, or was it just the sludge?
I'm not entirely sure. I think I was worried about the Cutify coming in more than, especially considering Giga Drain doesn't exactly hit,
Yeah.
as you will see. We'll get there.
Carvanha comes in, has an absurd attack stat in LC. Every time I remember running calcs when I was helping build LC. And
Yeah, Scraggy, huge attack, Dragon Dance. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that as well.
And Dark type is very important in LC more than most other types.
Yes, Dark is very important.
Yeah.
So there we go.
You finally get a spore.
Finally get a spore.
Which means you can start doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
We're just not terrified of everything all the time now, which is nice.
I'm very
Good
curious
brain.
about this endgame now.
Well,
Oh, I know what's. Oh no! Is it gonna get an early wake up call?
Actually, no.
Oh, okay,
Not
okay.
really. No, this actually stays asleep for quite a while.
That is some nice 3-turn sleeping. Okay. Oh, I am very confused about this end game.
Well,
I'm no longer
Yeah.
confused about this end game.
so yeah, intimidate means that doesn't kill,
Yep.
which is unfortunate.
And then
But
Genghis.
that also doesn't kill. So
Yeah.
and now it's just a mushroom and a cat.
Which means we are basically.
And
oh wow!
the
4
cat has
turns
been
sleep.
asleep for a while at this point.
Yeah.
I get very lucky there. It does wake up. It does not kill, and I predict the wake up, I think. Yeah.
That's nice. You.
And this
pretty
is
much have to.
yeah, well. And tragedy strikes
Ah.
immediately, and that's game.
Oh, that is a close run game.
That was an insanely close game.
Wow.
Comes down to sleep turns.
Yep.
It's part of the reason why you got
Live by the
instance.
sleep turns, die by the sleep turns.
Yeah.
So it is.
You'd been you'd had a nice couple of rolls with the first sleep.
I got very, very lucky with the first sleep. Yeah. I honestly, Focus Punch was huge.
Yeah.
Just tearing Tyrant a new one.
Tyrant can be absolutely massive in if it
Tyrant's
gets a
been
single.
incredible.
Yeah. A single Dragon Dance.
Just needs one Dragon Dance to start echoing stuff.
Sometimes it doesn't even need the Dragon Dance. You can just scarf it and.
Yeah, a friend scarf.
Yeah.
Tyrant as well. With Strong Jaw particularly. It hits everything, kind of. But yeah, that's the game.
Very close run game and unlucky with that.
Very, very close. But yeah, Rayquaza played very, very well. And yeah.
Yeah. And
There it is.
It wasn't no, it wasn't in the playoff picture.
No, unfortunately, both.
I
Well,
think
I say
if
that.
we won the week, we had a chance of winning, of getting into playoffs, depending on how other people did.
Yes, you did. I'm going to.
But I
shut my
believe
mouth then.
Auxiliary were out of the ranks.
Yes, Auxiliary
So,
were out.
Yeah.
And yeah, Durham potentially could have come 16th.
It is what it is.
Or no, they would have come 40. No. Oh, I get it. Yeah, you would have come 14th. But like, you can say it about an absolute ton of games throughout. That
Yeah.
it's always a build-up. It's never down to the last week. Purely.
Yeah, no, it's anyway. I can't really be mad that we lost that, especially with the Focus Punch halfway through.
I think
I mean,
what's
it's Mon sometimes as well. If you look at it throughout the whole season, there's definitely lots of games that have been stolen away for various reasons that maybe aren't purely play related.
yeah.
So
Yeah, no.
There's also a nice thing in so some teams have a big advantage over when you have two teams. So York has two teams, only one of them got through. Cambridge have two teams, both of them got through. St Andrews have two teams, both of them got through. Durham have two teams, only one of them got through. The resources can now be pooled into those one team.
I've already been dragged into, been roped into helping out the dunce bosses.
Yeah. Obviously, the actual players can't play from the other teams, but
No, that is us done.
yeah, but the resources and the brain power can all go into the one team and push them towards the finals of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see if that happens with Durham.
We'll see if that happens with Durham. I'm very much hope that they get far. They're a great bunch.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Ah, thank you very much for joining.
thanks for
and
having me.
talking about the game. I think we are pretty much wrapped up. So
Alright.
I'm gonna switch us over to the main good old screeny thing. I'm gonna ramp up the media source to make sure the music's coming through nice and clear for everyone. And I'm gonna say thank you very much for joining us for
Thank
our
you.
final review of the
Yep.
main season. We're gonna be back on Saturday, I believe, for
Should be.
that Fantasies Double award ceremony, where we'll see who is crowned the fantasy champion. We will see who wins the actual Pokemon highest points total, and we will also have the playoffs coming at you very, very soon. I've been Dom.
I've been Sakura.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye. Stay safe.